I'm kind of dressed down for this one. I don't know. I haven't really figured myself out yet. Here we are, the moment we've all been waiting for, the final in my series of tutorials for the helmets based on Power Rangers Ninja Storm, the one and only, the Red Ranger, the leader himself, RIP Magasiva. Let's get straight into the tutorial, guys, and without further ado. Okay people, we've been here before, so you have your patterns printed out onto your paper. You're gonna transfer those over to your foam. Here I'm starting out with the 10mm foam, as always, for the base. Now here is the top of the helmet. You're gonna make a inward angle cut because you want that point to be nice and sharp. And then after that, we're gonna continue to cut a few more pieces. Be sure you make note of your registration lines as well as your angle cuts. Okay, in this stage here, I'm just doing some pre-assembly, starting with the back of the helmet. You know, there's two darts between the two of these back pieces. Just gonna slather your glue in there, then you know, just put them together. Make sure your registration marks line up, and we'll come back to the back of the helmet later on in the video. But actually, this is actually the same method that I used for the two previous helmets. Be sure to go check those out if you haven't already. But I start at the front of the helmet with the chin, and I work my way backwards, and that's what I found has been the easiest to get this helmet pattern completed. All right, here I'm just finishing up the back assembly along with a few side pieces. And after that, we're going to jump to the top of the helmet. Here we made those inward angle cuts, and you can see it's sort of a beveled edge meeting in the point of the top of the helmet. And from there, you're gonna heat form it into a dome shape so it, you know, can hold the actual helmet form that you're going to need. Next is the front of the helmet. There's also some darts, so you're gonna use your contact cement to glue those darts up before you begin assembling the front of the helmet. And here you're going to need to heat form these as well, I suggest, before putting those together. After, you know, it doesn't really make a difference, but you know, I like to dome them out before gluing them together. And once you've done that, you're going to take the front half of the helmet and glue it to that peaked piece. And here, I don't really know what you would call this, but this is like the front cheek area. It's where the gold detail would be seated. So I'm just gluing that on as we get prepared to put the face together. right, continuing on with the front head assembly. Here I am just putting on that little, I guess, your oval shape. Also part of the adornment piece. Everything will line up once you get the details cut out, and you know, from there you'll take your top head assembly and, you know, just put it onto the back half that you were assembling earlier in the video. And, you know, from here you just push your edges together, make sure you have good contact on all the edges. And now we're gonna actually put the mouth guard and chin into place. Now remember, when putting the mouth in, you're going to want to glue it halfway in between the thickness of the foam, sort of like it's I would guess you could say inset, or halfway between the thickness of the foam. So yeah, like I made a line here showing that it's 5 millimeters, excuse me. And yeah, and then just match up those two lines. All right, now with that mouth in place, we're gonna use this on this visor piece, you know, to just be representative of where you would put your, you know, clear plastic to see out of. But yeah, this is just here to help it hold shape. So when gluing down the edges, I use this sheet of paper to keep unnecessary contact between the foam before the glue actually touches itself. And you're just going to use a little sketch guideline in between the thickness of the foam, similar to what I did with the mouth, to glue that little 5 millimeter visor piece into place. And here I'm just making sure all the edges have good contact. Now with this last part, it's pretty easy. Once that chin is in place, we're going to move on to the details. Now the details have been included in the pattern to say I think 5 millimeter in thickness, but you can use whatever you want. And I also chose to cut out the actual shapes that are seated inside of the detail pattern. You can do anything from, you know, layering 2 millimeter foam on top, but I just took this as an artistic interpretation, but feel free to do whatever you want. So here I'm just transferring all the lines over to a piece of 5 millimeter foam and cutting out the shapes that are inside the larger shape. And from there, we're going to use our contact cement to glue everything down. Be sure to use your paper gluing technique and take your time. Okay, now we're putting glue on our surfaces, and you can sort of see here how the detail matches up to the footprint of the actual helmet. I tried to make it as clear as possible because you wouldn't have the help of registration lines during this step. So just make sure that when you're gluing down the detail, it is contained within the lines of where the different pieces meet. And last, you're just gonna put on this little 2 millimeter detail. And for the emblem, I would suggest using some clay foam. You know, just get that hawk in there. And that is all, my friends. You have a completed Red Ranger helmet. All right, here we are at the end of the series. I wish I had some big thing to say, but it's not much. I don't know what the next tutorial is gonna be, but it's wherever the inspiration takes me. But if you want to follow any of my various other projects, exploits, conventions, hey, I'll be down to meet up too. Please follow me on my socials. It's all through my bio links. You want to check out the website. I post some of my write-ups over there. Maybe vlogs in the future. I don't know. If you have a taste of that kind of thing, let's do it. But yeah, until next time. Boop.